Good morning. Welcome to Python Programming 1 in Mini 2 of 2023. I am John Ostlund, and I'll be your professor for this course. I'd like to look through the syllabus so that we can avoid spending class time on this. I encourage you to email me at any time about any questions that you have. You can use either my official Andrew email address or my Gmail address, whichever you like. I'll be available to you 7 days a week. I check email on a pretty regular basis, and I respond as quickly as I can. It's very rare that it takes me longer than 24 hours to respond. I usually try to respond much more quickly than that. I will have office hours each week by Zoom on Sundays between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. Now, at the moment I'm recording this, we're still in daylight time, but at some point in November we will switch to standard time. But regardless, the office hours will be from 2 to 4. And you can look under the Zoom section to find the link to the office hours. We will have an in-class final exam that will take place during the lecture period on the last day of class, Thursday, December 7th. I will be ably assisted by a couple of teaching assistants. These folks are primarily responsible for grading homework assignments, but you can also email questions to them, and they may or may not choose to have their own office hours by Zoom. I leave it up to them to decide whether they're interested in doing that. All right. So, there are no prerequisites for the course. This is an introductory course. We assume that you do not have much in the way of a prior programming background, and we introduce you to as much Python and simple methodology for putting together Python programs during the 7 weeks. We make use of a package called Anaconda, the version 2023.09, which includes a pretty recent version of Python called Python 3.11. I have an installation video, which will also, the link to that will be given in the same announcement as this syllabus review video. And so please do watch that installation video and make sure that you have Anaconda 2023.09 installed on your machine. The official documentation is excellent. It is official. Sometimes it can be rather challenging to read. There is a really excellent tutorial as part of the official documentation that you might want to take a look through. I'm not going to require you to pay for a textbook. Here are some textbooks that are good. The first of which is used for introductory courses and is preposterously expensive. It's like $120 or something. Maybe you can find a used copy or an older edition. There are also books available either right on the web or through the Carnegie Mellon University Library that you can look at online for free. All right, now in terms of what I expect you to do and how the grading will work, we will do homework on a weekly basis, and your combined homework is worth 20% of your course grade. There will also be quizzes on a weekly basis. Your combined quiz grades will be worth 35% of your course grade, and then the final exam, which will occur on the last day of the class, will be worth 45%. Now, for each homework, I assign people into teams, usually of 2 people, but if I have an odd number of students, then there will be one team of 3 people. And what I request you to do with the homework is do the homework yourself first. Do as much of the homework as you possibly can. You can certainly ask your teammates or me or the TAs, or for that matter, any other students for suggestions if you get stuck on something. Once you have done as much of the homework as you can, compare what you did with what your team member or team members did. You will then need to select among your team one version of a homework solution that you want to submit, and then one member of the team should put the necessary files into a zip archive and upload that zip archive to Canvas. All of the members of the team will receive the same homework grade based on that submission. Now, to get an A on a homework assignment, which is the highest grade that I give for homework because of the collaborative nature of homework, you need to get any score of 90 or better, somewhere between 90 and 100. Generally speaking, all teams do get A's on the homework, unless they, just completely overlook a section of the homework or do something really crazy. In addition to the homework, which is required, there are also labs available each week that are optional. I post the labs and the solutions to the labs at the same time, and these provide you with additional practice, which you hopefully will find useful. But it's not required that you do the labs. Now, for each week's material, there will be a quiz online. These quizzes are on Canvas, and you have to use Lockdown Browser and Respondus Monitor in order to take these quizzes. In order to get an A on a quiz, you have to score 87.5% or better of the total points. Now, each quiz does have a different number of points. So whatever the total points are for a given quiz, 87.5% or better is an A. Now, you do get multiple chances, specifically up to 4 chances at each of these weekly quizzes. You will not get the same quiz each time. We have a large question base from which the quizzes are generated. So if you take the week 1 quiz and don't achieve 87.5% or better, you will be able to take the quiz again one day later, or more than one day later, and a new quiz will be generated from the same question base for the week 1 material. You're only allowed to take the quiz once per day. Generally speaking, I reset your opportunity to take the quiz each morning when I start working, which is sometime between 8 and 9 o'clock each morning. So, please wait each morning for 9 o'clock before, emailing me about, why can't I take the quiz yet? I try to get it done as quickly as I can each morning. The reason I don't allow people to just take the quiz, bing, 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 one after another, is that some people feel like, well, I'll take my 4 chances as quickly as I can, and I'll hope I'll get lucky on one of them. And that's really not an appropriate way to learn the material. So if you take the quiz and are not able to achieve your A, then, I hope you will spend some time actually reviewing the material in order to do better on your next opportunity. All right, so the final exam is also going to be online. but it will be in class, whereas the quizzes you can take at your own convenience. And the final exam will take place during class on December 7th. And unlike the quizzes, you only have one opportunity to take the final exam. Now, the final exam is the only thing in the course that it will be possible to get an A+ grade on. So if you are among the top performers in the class, the top 10 to 20%, let's say, depending on how people are scoring, then you may get an A+ on the final. And if you get an A+ on the final and you have gotten A's or very close to A's on everything else, then it is going to be possible to get an A+ as your course grade. Okay. Here are the so-called QPA points that are assigned to each of the letter grades. And to illustrate how I compute a course grade, let's suppose that you do get A's on all of your homework. So that means you get 20% or 20% times a 4.0. And let's suppose that you also get A's on all of your quizzes. So that's another 35% of a 4.0. On your final exam, you get an A-. So that's 45% of an A-, which is 3.67, right? Add all that up, and what you get is an average QPA of 3.8515. Now, I don't, because I put a ceiling of A's on the homeworks and the quizzes, I don't require you to get a 4.0 in order to get an A. You have to get, so an A- is 3.67, and an A is 4.0. I take the midpoint between those, which I've conveniently forgotten what that number is. But whatever the midpoint is between 4.0 and 3.67, if you do better than that, you get an A. All right, and so this 3.8515 is above the midpoint between 4.0 and 3.67, and so this would result in a course grade of A. Okay? All right. I think you can probably read the course objectives. Here's the grading scale. I often use my own grading scale. If I give you a quiz or a final exam that is more difficult than I might initially think, I'm not going to apply this very strict Heinz College grading scale to things. If I give you a 100-point final exam and the top score in the class is 70 points out of 100 points, that does not mean that the top grade in the class is going to be a C-. The top grade in the class is going to be an A+. All right, so whoever gets the top grade in the class will get an A+. And then a few other people who are close to that will also receive A+, and then I create a curve downward from there, okay? So I do adjust my curve based on the actual scores that people achieve on the final exam. Okay, I don't think I'm going to read through the weekly details to you. I do want to point out that homework is going to be due on Monday nights prior to Thanksgiving. Now, we do have Thanksgiving break coming up near the end of November, actually the third week of November. And so the fifth homework, the week 5 homework, will be due on the Wednesday after we return from Thanksgiving. And then the final homework will be due on the Tuesday during the last week of class. But up until that point, homeworks are always going to be due on Monday. I will also give quizzes generally are due on Friday of the following week. So for the week 1 material, you have to pass. You have to achieve. You have to try to achieve an A before midnight on Friday of week 2. Okay, and for the week 2 material, you have to be done by Friday of week 3, and so forth. But again, because of Thanksgiving, I will give you extensions for the quizzes following Thanksgiving, and then of course our final exam. Homework assignments are going to be due just before midnight on Monday, except, as I mentioned, the weeks following Thanksgiving. Only one member of each homework team should submit homework. You will confuse the TAs if both or all of the members of a team submit homework. So please, only one member from each team should submit homework. And you need to make sure that you're on time. All right, the remainder of this I will ask you to read through for yourself. And if you have any questions about anything at any time, reach me by email and I will be happy to answer your questions. All right, take care.